All right, my friends, this is episode 182 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I am the Professor Larry at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there is Anthony the Dev at Summer Speak. This is the last podcast before we meet in person next week for Emerald City Comic Con. And I gotta say, man, I am excited.
I am so excited for it too. It just kind of has been hitting, like going, oh, I'm going into the week, and Friday I'm going to take a water taxi across, and I'm going to meet you at the airport, and then we're going to have a weekend of Comic-Con and games.
And
it's
games.
Been great.
Comic-Con games. We're going to meet up with Critical Role people. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've been so buried in work that I haven't really looked at the calendar, and then my wife and I were looking and realized, oh, I'm gone all weekend. We need to figure out the logistics of this whole thing on our side. So we have, and I'm excited and cannot wait. You know, I usually don't like planes, but I get to play a video game on the plane the whole time because that's the only way that I can stay sane on a plane. So I'm very excited to finally finish Link to the Past, probably on my ride home on Monday.
Yeah.
So this week we are going to talk about Valve Steam, this game that almost came to be on Steam this week called Rape Day. And then we're going to talk about the games that we have been playing, which most decidedly is not Rape Day.
No.
So why don't we start with you just laying out what this shit was this week?
So this is the latest in a spell of, I guess, games coming close or releasing on Steam with their new policy of mostly everything goes. Of people just make games. They don't have to go through Greenlight anymore. They pay their money. They put them up there. And you put the button, you say, okay, cool, my store page is all set up, got all my content there, descriptions there, screenshots, video, whole thing. I want this to go up and be sold publicly for everybody. Most of the time tends to work out okay, but then you get something like this, where there's a game called Rape Day, and it's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, I heard that
it is a visual novel, though. I mean, it's not like this crazy real-time raping game, but I'm sure this starts lining the path for that. It's just, my God, it got this far. There was even a whole Steam page for it. I mean, where people could, I assume, pre-order, do whatever. But I mean, Valve still has to approve the game overall. Usually, it's pretty quick, and most of the time, as far as I've been through it, it's less about anything about content and more just, does the game crash? Does it run?
Is it automated, that system? Or is there actually someone trying to play it and see if it runs? Like, is it like...
I think, honestly, most of it has to be automated as much as possible. It just... I mean, there's thousands of games going on Steam. They can't play all of them. So...
Right.
There's general that, and then I can only imagine, in this case, something gets flagged somewhere, and I don't know if it's on Valve's end or if it's because everyone outside of Valve's going like, what the fuck, Valve?
Do you think if this wasn't titled Rape Day, if it was titled something innocuous, it might have slipped through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally could see that happening.
Just, as a private company, Valve is able to publish whatever it wants, but obviously the blowback against something like this is so intense. And I think, their statement, I think it's useful to read at least a couple of graphs from their statement, which I'll do really quickly. Their full statement this week was, over the past week, you may have heard about a game called Rape Day coming soon to Steam. Today, we decided not to distribute this game on Steam. Given our previous communication around who gets to be on Steam Store, we think this decision warrants further explanation. Much of our policy around what we distribute is and must be reactionary. We simply have to wait and see what comes to us via Steam Direct. Then we have to make a judgment call about any risk it puts to Valve, our developer partners, and our customers. After significant fact-finding and discussion, we think Rape Day poses unknown costs and risks and therefore will not be on Steam. We respect developers' desire to express themselves, and the purpose of Steam is to help developers find an audience, but this developer has chosen content matter and a way of representing it that makes it very difficult for us to help them do that. And that's the end of the statement.
Other way to read that, it costs us too much to put this up.
Yeah.
If it didn't cost us that much, if we didn't put ourselves in any kind of legal risk, we'd put it up. We don't care.
Yeah, and it's cost in terms of PR perception, right? But also...
Yeah, and actual legal cost. Like, will we be sued for having this on our platform?
Right. Who would sue them for that?
That's a good question, but I have seen lawsuits come forward for other things of similar, like, hey, look it, you are putting pretty graphic stuff in front of potentially minors.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
possible.
That's
Like
true.
they have to say like there's I think they do their due diligence of making sure someone is of age, kind of.
Well, their age gate
You
is
have
basically.
you have a prompt where you can just say whatever year you want to be born in. It doesn't matter.
Well, when that prompt comes up, it's basically set to like 1948 or whatever, like automatically. So.
Like, yeah, no, they.
There is the thing about, and I felt this way as a young kid. Like, it's freedom of expression. People should be able to say it, whatever they want. But then the consequences of free speech come into play. And I feel like the consequences of a game like this, I mean, I don't know what the consequences would be other than encouraging, condoning, maybe giving someone, I don't know, a window into expressing this kind of action. I don't know if that would then encourage them to do it in real life, but it is just.
So, Steam is a private place. That's fine. I will also state that up here we have Nordstrom. They don't sell shirts that have swastikas on them. Why don't they? Because they don't want the backlash. They don't feel like it's right.
Was that a thing recently? Where someone was trying? Oh, okay. You just
but it's just you think about any clothing store.
Right.
Why don't they sell anything goes on them? Swearing, like, sure, then there are some stores that will sell shirts that have, like, swearing on them and things like that. But you won't find those in, like, a Macy's or Nordstrom or Sears, whatever.
Well, and that's the thing is that...
And that's fine. Like, they curate what they put out. They're like, no, we don't want that. Valve has no interest in curating.
Oh, but still, they are curating here in some way. They're saying, like, the
only
most...
reactionary.
Exactly.
Only
the most
reactionary.
extreme stuff that we, like, realize is happening, we'll take it out, but they're not going to curate.
And it's only reactionary, and they talk about it, saying, we only do this reactionary.
Correct.
They will not put a system into place where they will look for these before these situations happen.
And do you think that's because it's their... I'm throwing you a softball here. Do you think it's their libertarian philosophy where they're like, anything should go, there should be no regulation? No. Or do you think it's something else?
Not at all. They don't want to spend the money on it. Why would they want... Like, it costs a lot of money to curate a store like this.
Right.
Thousands of games. They can hide behind that, like, philosophy of everyone can express themselves. You can. You can put up a game for sale anywhere else. Like, it doesn't have to be on Steam. Like,
it could be on your webpage.
I could release a game and put it up and let everyone download it off my webpage, hosting Revert, Dropbox, Google Drive. It doesn't matter. Like, we are in a place now where there is so much storage and bandwidth everywhere. You could do whatever you need. So I don't sit here behind the guise of, we need to be the way to help them distribute. No, you don't. You're not squashing anyone's free speech or anything by saying, you know what, we don't want this on our platform. Like, up front, just going like, these are things we don't want.
Yeah, and
so
I feel like
I'm so sick and tired of this crap.
Well, in some way also by forcing, or I don't know, asking Steam to host this game, you're kind of imposing your speech on them. Like, this basically comes out of Steam's mouth when they put this onto their webpage, and if they don't want to express this idea, they don't have to.
Yeah. And I don't know how other publishers feel about this, but think about, let's say this game. Actually, I have a good example right here on my Steam thing right now. So I'm pretty sure because I played Doki Doki Literature Club long ago.
Yeah.
I get, every time I log into Steam, I go through a one of their curated lists during sales to show me, like, are you interested in this stuff? Every time I get a goddamn hentai game.
Yep, me too. All the time.
Every time.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm looking even in, like, curated, the algorithm is showing me my new and trending things I might be interested in. Right above Devil May Cry 5, AAA Capcom game, right above it, is Leanna's Slice of Life, a tagged as indie sexual content nudity RPG. Right, sitting next to Devil May Cry 5.
So they think that you're as interested or more interested in that than you would be in DMC5 because
and does Capcom want that game next to theirs?
No, but I mean, definitely not.
And then I flip to, like, what's the popular upcoming for me, and I get 3 amazing things. I get Hentai Crush, Cam Girls Company Tycoon, And
Jesus.
Our Lovely Escape, another hentai visual novel.
So bring it back
And
to the
I say no to all of this constantly.
Right.
And it still keeps showing up for me.
Do you
So
think
let's
it's
go back
because
to
of that
Rape
one
Day.
game?
If that game, yeah. I've looked at tags that said, because you play Doki Doki Literature Club, we're showing you this game. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Doki Doki was just a visual novel.
It wasn't hentai at all.
No. It was psychologically screwed up and like, but it was not hentai in any way, shape, or the words. It was just a visual novel. So, let's now expand that back to, we released a game called Rape Day. Because I've played Doki Doki, you're going to put this in front of me now?
Right.
I don't want to see that. I say no to all this, yet it doesn't stop showing me these things.
And as a consumer, what's the option? Is the option to say I'm just going to go to Epic, or
I'm just not going to buy games on Steam anymore.
Yeah.
And actually, I've come to the conclusion I'm not going to buy games on Steam anymore. I'm done. I don't need to buy games from Steam. I can buy them on Epic. I mean, I can play games through Steam. I have no problem playing games through Steam.
Because that's not giving them money. Yeah.
I can go to Humble. I can buy games
Right.
off Humble, and I can buy GOG or Itch.
Right.
There's any number of places that I can do it, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm so annoyed at this whole problem and situation and refusal to actually curate your marketplace and care about what really gets there. Because again, Rape Day is one, and there was another one months ago called Active Shooter.
I remember that. Yep.
Are only two that really bubble up to the surface, but there is so much horrendous stuff on here that just goes there. It doesn't sell that much, but
it gets screen time in front of you, you know.
And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I don't need this. This is just. I think Greenlight, like removing Greenlight, was one of the worst things they ever did, because now there is no one curating any of this.
Right.
And they can say it's all about it, people expressing themselves. It is literally they just don't want to do the work. No one at Valve's a small company, wants to do this shit.
They
I
have
don't know,
all
I don't
the
know
money
what they
in the
want
world.
to do.
Why don't
Yeah,
they hire
have all
someone
the
to
money
do it?
in the world, but they're still only like a 400-person company or less.
Right, but if they
They're
have all the money,
ridiculously-
they could hire someone to do this specific
I don't know
task.
what the hell they want to do with it. Clearly not make their own games, or
Well.
when they do, they fail miserably. At this
Are
point,
you talking about Artifact?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
500 people playing.
Yeah,
now.
it's really bad. That's
And they
unbelievable.
basically laid off like 13 people. And Richard Garfield, he stopped his contract with them. Like, Artifact's dead.
Yeah.
It's no one's playing that game anymore.
Right. What a disaster. There are games they could make that would sell great, but they refuse to make them.
But there's no one there who wants to make them anymore.
Well, yeah, those people have moved on because
Exactly,
there was
because
no more.
they couldn't make the game.
Yeah,
they wanted to
exactly.
make.
Right, that guy, he posted the story to Half-Life 3. He's just like, here it is. This is never going to come out, so just read it.
Yeah. You have all that. You have
Do it.
uh,
You raised.
Dota
Sorry.
2 is making a bunch of money, so
Yeah.
they do stuff with Dota 2.
But you raised a good question earlier that I kind of want to circle back to about that, basically the hentai games showing up against DMC5, and what does Capcom feel about that? And I wonder, is there a point where, because the algorithm is so bad, that seeing those screenshots up together or seeing those games paired with other games they really don't want to be associated with, is there pressure that like Capcom could put on Steam to say, stop showing our game next to games that are, hentai or whatever it is, even if the user, that's one of the games they like to play. Is there any pressure
Eventually,
they could put on?
they could try to put pressure. I think you've somewhat already seen it in some ways of the big publishers just removing their games from Steam. Like, of course, they want their own marketplace so they can make the money themselves on their own stores. Ubisoft, one of them, EA,
yeah,
Activision.
right,
But they can also show you the games around them and know very well what all the games are being paired with. They have control of those stores.
right.
Which is another, like, money is one piece to it, control is the other piece. And marketing and the whole thing. Like, yeah, so Capcom is clearly not at a place where they're going to do their own store.
Right.
But you will, I definitely believe you're going to just see over the next few years, people are just going to be the big games are just going to start one after another, just pull off Steam and just be like, we're not doing it anymore. And because Steam sales are going down, so
Well,
that's
yeah, I feel like Steam sales in what you're talking about for sure, but also just like the attraction of the semi-annual sales that happen are not as intriguing to
no,
users anymore.
they aren't. But the actual like number of copies sold of games is going down, or it's kind of going down. It's also solidifying into very specific games, and good luck selling a meeting that threshold anymore and being breakout.
Is that because the market is fragmenting, where you have different marketplaces, or just because I don't think people are buying fewer games?
This was happening long before those other marketplaces really started putting pressure on Steam. There's just, you watch like the data over the past probably like 3 years, especially when the Steam Spy guy was doing his presentations at GDC every year. Mm-hmm. Funny, he was working at Epic during all this, but he was doing tons of market research on this, just showing that people were buying less and less games, or new players were buying, like, on average their actual like number of game purchases per account was very low at that point. Like, that just kept going down, and people weren't really buying a lot of indie game stuff anymore. They were just interested in their one game and getting that and not buying other things.
Right.
So it's a consolidation into kind of that stuff, and then I don't feel like Valve has done a great job getting people to buy other things. I mean, why do they want to have other people? In some ways, sure, each game sale is worth money to them, but is it worth more money that if that player just puts a bunch of time and money into Dota 2? What's better for them?
Right.
I don't know. Just depends. I guess it depends on the game. There's a lot of stuff now where I just look at it and I'm just like, no, this is just not healthy. I also feel like they're so big in Monopoly, they're just getting lazy.
Yeah. Well, your vote with the wallet, what word am I trying to say here? Speech, makes me think back to the last time I actually bought a game on Steam, because all the games that I add to Steam are all through Humble Bundle. Like, I buy games through Humble, basically. I don't know when the last time I bought. And that's partially because PC is not my platform of choice. Mainly it's Nintendo and Sony. But I do think that's the way, in anything where you're disagreeing with the choices that a company is making, is just voting with your wallet. There are companies that I don't buy. I don't plan on buying a THQ Nordic game anytime soon.
No.
For example, although their games don't really appeal to me anyways, no matter how many dead IPs they try to buy. But I think we're in a place now, obviously, with social media where the messages get out more and you hear more about what people are doing, but it's just socially conscious in terms of where you spend your money. And there are people who are, right-wing and want to spend money only with, like, conservative companies or whatever, or people who are friendly to conservative causes and liberal, whatever. Like, we all spend our money not only to buy products, but also places kind of align with ourselves philosophically, for better or for worse. And I think that's, if enough people did that, of course, it would put enough pressure onto Steam for them to change their ways. Who knows if that's going to happen there. But I think by moving off of Steam, but moving on to a different platform, and those platforms getting more market share, I think that speaks more to Valve, because that really hits their bottom line.
Yeah. Will it actually change anything? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of, for me personally, I'm just tired of logging in and getting shown hentai games all the goddamn time.
I'm so sorry.
It's super
it's
frustrating.
My fault.
But I play one stupid visual novel and I get inundated. I feel like, and yeah, it's not like every game, but it really is every single day. Steam opens and I see this crap, and I'm like, I'm just tired of it. I'm not offended by it. I don't care. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
I want it to go away. I keep on saying no, I'm not interested, yet it won't go away.
Right.
How many times do I have to say no? And that's the thing. I'm like, well, I don't want to, I don't give a crap about nudity in games. I really don't. I just don't want the really shittily ported hentai games showing up.
Well, there's a lot just gross, right? And everyone has their own line for what's gross and what's just unacceptable. But I don't think Doki Doki Literature Club is anywhere near that line. And I feel bad, because that was our book club game or game club game.
I enjoyed it. It was
a fun game, exactly. But yeah, we definitely see a lot of porno games basically on our Steam, which I totally ignore. But I'm surprised that if you keep saying no, it doesn't go away. I feel like it should. They should be wanting to show you games that you're more likely to buy.
Since I mean, it's the discovery queues. That's what I do every once in a while.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I always feel I'm like, those should help me because I just say ignore the things I don't want,
Right.
wish list the things I want. Great. And you think after what, almost a year now, over a year of me saying
like into
no,
2016, yeah.
no to hentai things, it would just stop showing them to me.
You would think.
But it's always new ones, which also makes me realize there's just a ton being dumped onto Steam
Right.
because it's $100 and super easy to just get out there.
Yep.
Yeah, so I have feelings about this. I don't like it at all. I'm glad Rape Day is not going to Steam, even if it's for the wrong reasons.
Right.
I still like the right outcome. So
and I think
I'm
I think
okay
it
with
is-
that part.
It is positive that enough legitimate outcry gets their attention, even though they're such a huge company, despite the fact they have few people working there. If we have to be the curators for Steam, basically, like if none of us screamed about that, then it would be published, basically, because they probably wouldn't even have noticed. Although with a name like Rape Day, I feel like that would have thrown some flags. Who knows?
Yeah, at that point, I'm like, I only can hope that behind the scenes they have something in their curation process, the just automated thing that's like, hey, if it has rape in the title, you should probably have an actual person look at this.
Right.
The annoying thing is that that thing that you read by them, it took a meeting room of multiple people to decide not to publish this game. Why does it take a group of people whenever it should just be like, it's called fucking Rape Day? No.
Right.
Just no. We're not. We're done. Next.
Yeah, I almost feel like that conversation is like, how would it look if we published it? How would it look if we didn't publish it? Like, would the people who really want that kind of game be mad at us? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, it's just, what are your values? What's your values? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And I don't know
Big
if they
deal
have
if they're
any.
mad at you. Big deal.
Yeah.
It's not gonna hurt.
That's true. I just feel like the vocal minority is so amplified online that it sounds like there's a lot of them when really there are not.
No.
So.
Shall we talk about Captain Marvel making 155 million? 55 million this weekend?
Despite the online vocal minority.
Oh yeah, how many people? Right, never mind.
Yep. I'm looking forward to seeing that eventually.
It'll be a couple weeks.
Till you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had some free time yesterday and we thought about going, but then we didn't. So
yeah. No, it makes sense.
Hopefully someday. So that's the Valve kerfuffle this week, excuse me. Why don't we move on to games that we're playing, and maybe we'll start with you because I think maybe you have more. Than me.
Maybe weirdly not an insane amount. A previous one that I played before, I just wanted to check out Path of Exile again. They just had a league start this weekend, which is their new season.
Okay.
They call their season leagues, and they have very distinct mechanics for leagues, like entire metagames, essentially new metagames in the game. And I was like, all right, let's check this out. And I put a chunk of hours in on Friday night, a little bit more yesterday. It's such a complicated fucking game. Even from not playing it, I'm just like, my God, I don't think there's any way I could play this game without some build guide up or next to me.
Right.
It's just like impossible. Like, you would make such poor decisions and then just get stomped in the last act of the game and be like, what am I doing wrong? And you're like, because there's no good feedback to know, like, yeah, you did your skill tree really wrong, or your skills are really bad. You should adjust. And like, these guides are insane. Like, there's a lot of guides up there on their forums, and it's great, and people keep them updated as the new leagues come out. But actually finding one that is like, hey, newbie friendly, let's explain everything that we're doing about, like, all these acronyms and why you should be doing certain things or not, and when you should be transitioning from, like, one play style to another play style. Those don't exist a lot of times, and you're just like, I don't understand what I'm reading. I feel this is probably how people felt reading anything out of me playing World of Warcraft back in the day. And, like, the sentences that I'd read, I'm like, oh, yeah, I totally get that.
It's like talking to my mom whenever she says something about WoW.
And you're just like, what did you say?
Oh, yeah, I loaded up my tune with blah, blah, blah. Like, you did what?
What? I was LFG for this great, and like, so that's how I feel playing Path of Exile a lot. Is just a complete like, what is going on? I will say of all that complexity though, does bring at the end game just an incredible amount of depth to the type of character you can play.
And variety too, right?
Super distinct play styles, and very viable in lots of different ways. So it gets a lot of depth out of a lot of complexity, which I guess is good. The new mechanics are generally are pretty fun. I kind of understand how it is. It's very quick. Like, guy's on a map, he'll open a portal for you to his a corrupted memory he's trying to piece together. Like, something is corrupting his memories, and you're trying to piece them together. And it's a very quick pace, like, map that takes usually only about a minute tops. And if you do it successfully and without the memory decaying, if you get there fast enough, you get basically a memory block, and then you're building a map using these memory blocks, and they have connections in the four cardinal directions. And so you're building a run basically from like a central hub to reward nodes out in the world, and then you like place them all down, and you're like, I'm going to run this now, and you just run through this big map.
That's pretty fun.
It is pretty cool. Like, it's a cool mechanic, and like that's the type of stuff that they do as the like big mechanics. It's weirdly something that Blizzard with Diablo 3 never takes it that far, and I don't think they'll ever take it that far.
Yeah, I feel like they value more accessibility, maybe.
They do.
Which it's a great game now, but I understand that the Path of Exile in some way is impenetrable. But once you get it, it's super pretty fun.
Yeah, and I'm probably done at this point already. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. I understand now. I got to see the cool thing. Yeah. And okay, I can play something else.
What level did you get to? Again?
I'm like 50 something.
Okay, yeah.
Decent way in. Like, I know the character and everything. I guess most people would say not far enough, because I'm not in Act 5-ish.
But you can't respec your character, right?
You can respec. Well, I mean, skills are gems, are slotted. Okay. They're materia. You can just swap those as you want. But you're like the big sphere grid, basically, passive tree. You get respec points, and those are, you get a certain number as you just play through the game, and then you can get drops that give you more. I mean, it is free to play, so if you want more respec points,
you're gonna pay for them.
But kind of, because you can't buy them. Like, this is the one thing with Path of Exile, you can't buy anything mechanical in it.
It's just
it's all cosmetic. The closest you get to mechanics and quality of life is you can buy stash tabs, and like premium stash tabs that are custom for different currencies. Like, there's a currency tab, tarot card tab, that display some of these specific things in a very nice quality of life way.
That's
but
interesting.
They don't sell level ups, they don't sell XP boosts, they don't sell skill gems, they don't sell anything. Like, if you want that, you have to, there's a whole economy with specific loot in the game. It's called the Chaos Orb. And that's what everything is effectively, as far as I can tell, priced around. So, like, if you want this legendary item, someone's trading, they're like, oh, it's like 12 Chaos Orbs. And so there's this whole barter system that's formed up around it. It's a lot like original Diablo that had Stone of Jordans. Yeah. Which I remember playing, and everyone was like, I need my SOJs. How many SOJs is that worth?
That was the currency, exactly.
And that's exactly what this is, but they've created it. They wanted that.
That's so interesting to set up a system of microtransactions where it's quality of life stuff, because I'm trying to I've always been thinking about how these companies monetize their games, like Apex Legends, for example. Obviously, it's cosmetics, but I don't know if you could do a quality of life thing there. But in a game like this, where you are, heavy inventory management, it's just ripe for that kind of thing. And I just wonder, does that piss the community off? Are they saying like that should be in the game anyways?
Nope.
Wow, that's interesting.
One, because the game didn't launch with that stuff at all.
Okay, so
like that was stuff that was added later. when they remember playing the game when it originally launched, and the only thing that they sold in their store was purely cosmetic stuff. Like you could just make yourself look different. Your portals could be distinct. You could change spell effects to look cosmetically different. But they would not sell power. They still never sell power.
Seems to be working for them because they've expanded and expanded. They keep kicking the PS4 release date back and back.
I'm sure it's just it's kind of a mess of a game, I'll be honest, from a technical standpoint. You play it and you're like, this should run a lot better than it actually does for how it looks and what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's a game from many years ago, and it wasn't great when it first came out either. So I'm sure getting it to run nicely on a PS4 is taking some work.
Yeah, they're kicking it months right now. So it's December, then they kicked it to January, then they kicked it to March, and now it's March 10th, and it's still not. I haven't heard any word. So
is it?
We'll see.
Is it actually? Because they were trying to launch it with this league, with this season.
I do not think it's launched. I'm gonna check real fast. But
which was this past weekend. So if it launches in the next, clearly they're narrowing in, but they're just having a problem getting across the finish line on this one.
Right. Says Synthesis is the next major Path of Exile update, and it's coming on the 8th of March, which is what you just did. Obviously. What the hell happened to my tab? It just disappeared. All right.
It just says March, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, that's the last thing that I heard.
When?
Yeah, Path of Exile Synthesis. That's what just came out. That's what you're talking about.
Originally, as of February, was supposed to launch on PS4 on March 8th with that league. I don't think it did.
Certainly did not. Because this says confirmed Path of Exile release March 2019. I don't see a date there, but obviously the Xbox. It's on Xbox, and it says that this update will be on Monday, the 11th.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's
cert hell right now, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it
could
brick your PS4 like Anthem.
Like Anthem. Holy shit. And the way, man, just some podcasts I was listening to where some of the attitude was like, it's not really doing that. If it does, thankfully PS4 has cloud saves. So you can just put your save up in the cloud, and then, you can download it on your new PS4. It's like, fuck that. People can't spend another $300 on a PS4 because fucking Anthem.
As far as I can look, it didn't actually brick it anymore. You could recover the PS4.
Put in the safe mode and
rebuild the database or whatever. But still, I'm like, holy hell, guys. This is what cert's for. Like, one, Anthem shouldn't do that. But two, Sony, come on. This is the whole point of cert. You don't want a game bricking your console.
Right. I don't know. Man, that game just getting kicked and kicked. It reminds me of Fallout 76.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the new Fallout 76.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a better game than that from everything I've heard. But it's a game that, again, in 6 months, I'll take a look and see where they're at. But I have literally zero time to play right now, anyways, or figuratively zero time to play. I played a couple things, which I'll get to in a second. But I can wait till summer.
I played that whole Insanity, and then. That's really the only game I've got to really play this week. But today, I played D&D with my son.
And my God. Wife. That's so cool. Just you three?
Yep. And I've made a character just so I can make encounters reasonable. Like, making encounters for two characters first-level characters is pretty hard to do without worrying that you're just going to kill their first-level characters.
Yeah,
and I really didn't want to kill my son's first character ever. I want him to enjoy the game and want to play more, not be like, well, I know you got really excited to play that character. Now they're dead. Make a new one.
So please roll a new character.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's the name of your son's character?
Varys.
Varys?
Yep.
All right. Is he a whisperer?
Nope. He found it's just one of it's a high elf name possibility listed in the player's handbook.
Yeah, all right.
So he's like, I like that one. I'm like, okay. I didn't push him hard on anything. I just want him just do what you're comfortable with. And it worked. We played for a couple hours. It's about 2 hours. Went through basically exploring one small cave. Had about 4 combat encounters and then 2 trap/puzzle encounters.
Nice.
Just kind of mix it up a little bit, and
Did
got
you
him
ever
open.
say? Sorry,
Go ahead.
Did you ever say to him, "How do you want to do this?"
I came close to it, but I did not because like he did get his first natural 20
Oh, nice.
on a comet with a crossbow bolt. And I almost turned and was like, "How do you want to do this?" And I was like, "No, it's just he doesn't fully grasp that yet. So
Yeah, exactly.
let
He's
me
like, I
let me
don't know."
describe how this happens, and then you can." And the wife and I were good about trying to show him, not telling him to be, but showing with our own actions, being descriptive about what we were doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a ton of fun.
Oh my
Had
God,
a good
that's so great.
time, played a few hours, finished, and he's like, "Okay, when are we gonna do it again? Can we do it tomorrow night?" It's like that was great. That was awesome. I'm like, okay. No, I actually have to plan something else out.
Right. You're gonna have your weekly family D&D games.
Probably
Or
can't be
maybe
weekly.
every other weekly.
Just depends on the time.
Yeah. That's a lot to plan, obviously.
It's a lot to plan, and then making sure we have the time for it.
Yeah.
But it was good to do. It was fun to see him. My daughter really wants to play, but she needs to be able to. I think probably in 2 years. She'll
Yeah.
place. Like, she needs to be able to read more. We can help her with the math, but
Was she watching?
yeah, off and on.
That's cool. Yeah.
But then I'll have family D&D time. It'll be
Oh my God.
great. It's gonna be amazing.
It's honestly something that I think about quite a bit with my daughter, just in terms of listening to Critical Role, but then, tons of forums and people introducing their kids to it. And then actually several of my colleagues play, and then their kids play with them. And it's just like how much they're learning through playing this game is pretty incredible. So I think in terms of the creativity.
So much with it.
Yeah. So it's something I want to introduce my daughter to, but also in order to do that, I need to learn how to play it myself.
Yes. That should not be an issue. Man, if I had other people to play with online, I could just fire up a game on like Roll20 at some point.
Yeah, it'd be fun to do maybe this summer.
Yeah.
When I'm not dying under work. God damn.
It's true.
I'm at the point now where it rolls over to like 8:30, 9 o'clock, which is when I usually play video games, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to bed. I've just been going to sleep. However, I did play a couple games this week. Just to show you how I've been playing, I played Final Fantasy IX on the Switch. I've probably played about 20 to 25 minutes of the game over 6 or 7 different play times.
Oh,
so,
God.
4 minutes here, 5 minutes there. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Apparently there's a play.
Yep.
I've gone to a city and there's a play happening, but I don't know how to get a ticket to watch the play. So I'm roaming around trying to figure out how to get into the play, basically. I met some guy in the alley who said, like, if I do some nefarious thing, then he'd give me a ticket, and I said no. And I'm thinking maybe I should have said yes, but I don't know how to get into that
Wander
play.
around it more.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that in 3 to 5 minute chunks.
Exactly.
And then actually, my big play session was Thursday night. My friend Brad invited me to play StarCraft co-op with him.
Nice.
So I did. It's a game that I have no idea. I mean, I know that the basic mechanics. I haven't gone through the campaign enough to like really be proficient in it. I understand the building, like the basic mechanics. But in terms of the strategy of how to knit those things together, I'm not that great at it. So we did a co-op campaign leg or whatever. It was like 40 minutes or so, where we were working together to defend our base against these aliens that are coming in or whatever. It was a lot of fun working together. And then he wanted to do PvP, and he basically just toyed with me until he annihilated me with nukes or whatever. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, even though it's not a game that I'm proficient in at all. It was a lot of fun just to hang out and to talk shit and fuck around together for a couple hours. And that was basically my gaming time. Like, it's really probably hour and a half there, and the half an hour with Final Fantasy IX over the past 7 days, and that's been it. To be honest, the craziness at work is going to, this week will be the end of it until the next wave hits, probably end of April. So I'll be back a little bit back into the groove. But this weekend, obviously on the plane and up there with you, I'll be getting quite a bit of Nintendo games in, because I'll bring my 3DS and my Switch, play my Link to the Past on the plane, and then play Switch with you.
Yeah, that'll be great. Gotta do something while we wait in line.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I'm sure other people will have their Switches.
That's true.
We'll probably get some Smash going on with other people as well. I can't imagine it not happening. But I'm actually looking forward to tabletop gaming, playing some D&D with you up there.
We can do it.
The beginner's tables for me.
Yeah. And that's the easiest way anyway.
Yeah.
But who knows? We'll see what it's all like in there. Generally, my con games have been decently fun. Sometimes you have to have a force of will against what I'd consider the RPG troll, basically.
Yeah.
Who wants to go against the adventure at hand? You're like, why? This is a predetermined adventure at a con. Why are you trying to like break it or not do what they want you to do?
Right. Because it's funny. Like, well, then go be funny
somewhere else. This is not what we all sat down for.
Right. So then everyone could just leave and leave him alone.
Yeah, well, that's basically it. It's like, all right, we're getting in this wagon. We're going this way. You can stay here if you want, but enjoy.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
It doesn't happen that often, but every once in a while.
Well, we'll be together next Sunday. Probably we'll record together in our hotel room, I guess, talking about the con. I'll have my iPad. I don't know if we can record on that or not. We'll figure it out.
I have my laptop.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You have stuff up there. Maybe we can do that.
I'll have a laptop. I'll pack my mic.
Yeah, it will be easier for you than for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll reminisce about ECCC next week. Excellent. All right, guys, this was episode 182 of Prof and Dev Play Games. He is at SummerSpeak. I am at Prof Plays Games. If you enjoy our podcast, check us out on Patreon. Just search Prof and Dev Play Games. We got a new sponsor this month, so we will be talking about his topic when we get it. Thanks, everyone, for supporting us, and we're looking forward to talking to you next week about some crazy Nintendo news.
Hopefully Nintendo and nothing Valve-related.
Yes, that sounds great.
Crossing my fingers that doesn't happen again.
That's a great way to end it. That's hopefully fingers crossed. All right, see you guys next week.
Later, all.